Welcome to Kombi Nation, the nation of Kombi. What is this channel really about? It's truly about a hoarder that have collected a lot of air-cooled VW, really unique cars, trying to figure out from YouTube University how to fix them. I'm not a mechanic. I don't know half of what I know. I've forgotten the other half. The truth of the matter is combination is me reaching out to the internet for advice from all the experts on YouTube to help me fix what is broken. I'm a disorganized hoarder who desires to get my hoard cleaned up, fixed up, and drivable. For years and years and years, I've been collecting every cool little thing that ever came along. I remember I was wanting a VW bus since a very early age, and I wandered upon one on Craigslist for $300. This old hippie guy in Williams, Arizona sold me his green and white 1976 California edition with air. The motor had caught on fire, but he included another motor, which I rebuilt, and I haven't been able to put it back in the van to get it back on the road. I saw on Craigslist a couple years ago a Scooby-Doo buggy, and I went and looked at it, and it was a pretty cool little buggy. The guy lived out in the middle of nowhere, and he was tooling around in the high desert in northern Arizona with it, and I was like, dang, how much do you want for that? And he was like, give me $300. So I grabbed it up. It needed a couple of seats and a battery, but there you go. I have it now. I've had it for years, and the dang fiberglass needs to be taken care of, and there's a couple of cracks. I was getting some tin, like roofing, and my idea was, shoot, I'll make fences out of it. And I was in this guy's farm picking up a truckload of tin for $100, and out of the corner of my eye I saw this VW shape. You know what I'm talking about. And I stopped what I was doing and peeked around this semi in this farmer's yard, and there it was, a 1964 Deluxe sitting on its roof upside down. Barely a dent on it, hardly any rust, but sitting upside down on its roof. And I asked the fella, I said, hey, what are you doing with that? He goes, oh, that's my kid's Ford. I was like, what did you want for it? He looked at me and laughed, and he goes, Greg, I know you have a VW problem, and you're a hoarder. Why don't you give me $80? That was 5 years ago. $80 bus. It had no motor in it. It had no rear end. And I said, well, shoot, let me borrow my uncle's trailer and get this thing. He goes, no, I'll bring it over to you. I said, well, how are you going to roll it over and not break out any of the windows? He goes, I'll figure it out. About 2 weeks later, the guy drops it off and pulls it off of his trailer into my yard. It's been sitting there ever since. I went out and bought all the parts to get it fixed. found a roof in southern Arizona and drove all the way down to southern Arizona and loaded the roof, because the roof is all rusted out and crappy, loaded that roof onto my car with a blanket underneath it, strapped it down through the windows, and drove 65 miles an hour all the way back home. A total of a 9-hour round trip. Still sitting there, wondering if I'd ever get to it. I had a camper van I picked up for $300, but it was so rat infested and gross, I didn't want anything to do with it, and my wife wouldn't even get in it. So I put an ad on Craigslist, willing to trade for a running vehicle, and this guy showed up out of Phoenix, Arizona, and he had a square back. And he said it ran, but the engine was running rough. Anywho, I traded him that van. Shouldn't have never done that. I like vans better than cars, but whatever. I was touring Craigslist just about a year and a half ago and found a convertible Karma Gia on there for $1,000, and I went over and looked at it and offered the guy $700. And when we were doing the deal, I noticed there was some Volkswagen interior. He had quite a few Volkswagens in his hoard. There was a brand new reupholstered Volkswagen interior sitting there, and I was like, well, what's that to? He goes, that's to the Karma Gia. I was like, really? I said, how much do you want for that? He's like, give me $700. I was like, I ain't got 700, I could do 500. And all of a sudden I had brand new interior to this Karma Gia. Went out and purchased all the parts it needed. It didn't need much. Drug it home on a too-shorted trailer. Sat in my yard for a week or two, and I went out there in the dirt and the dust and the wind and got the engine running. Didn't want to put the interior in the car because it needed some work. So I put a milk crate in there and put another milk crate and went and grabbed the wife and said, hey honey, let's go take the Karma Gia for a ride. And she goes, you didn't get it running. Threw her in the passenger seat on the milk crate, and me on my milk crate, and of course there's no brakes, no clutch, but VWs are easy. I just let it idle down and jammed it into reverse, and all of a sudden I hit the gas pedal and it revved up in reverse, and I ended up hitting the side of my truck with the dang Karma Gia, and the Karma Gia didn't have a dent on it. The body was straight, just needed paint and a couple of things here and there. Now it's got a big old dent in it. Nonetheless, combination, it truly is me reaching out to the internet world to learn how to get these back on the road. I was born in Germany, and I almost remember my dad driving us around in a Volkswagen van. When I first got my green van, he goes, oh, I hated those. The other ones with the weird windows are even worse. They're the worst going up hills in Germany. Well, I live in northern Arizona, and there's a bunch of hills, and I know quite a few people that have vans, and shoot, in my days of working, I'd be passing these vans doing 80 while they're going 55. And that's really what this is about. I want to get these on the road so I can go 55. Why not? Combination. It's a Volkswagen club I started that got nowhere. My daughter helped me, a couple of my daughters helped me get a Pinterest account going under Combination. They helped me get a Facebook under Kombi Nation. They started my YouTube channel under Kombi Nation, and an Instagram account under Kombi Nation. This is just me reaching out to the internet, trying to get Kombi Nation up and running to keep all these old air-cooled VWs on the road, because I think they're really cool and a little bit piece of my past. So if you're wondering what Kombi Nation's about, that's what it's about. It's me reaching out to get Kombis back on the road, to get Volkswagen Bugs on the road, to get Volkswagen Carmageas, square backs, dune buggies, sand rails back on the road. They don't need to sit. Shoot. That Carmagia sat for 22 years, and within a day I had it up and running. They're real easy engines. All engines are fairly easy. They need gas, air, spark, and then they'll run. Signing out from the Nation of Kombi. I appreciate you hanging out in the shop with me, looking at the toasty warm fire, learning a little bit more about Kombi Nation. The Nation of Kombi out.